Hello, and welcome to our Social Studies curriculum presentation. The reason we are here is that the Arizona Department of Education adopted new social studies standards in October 2018 for grades K through 12. The transition to the new standards will take place over 2 years, with 6th through 8th grade implementing this year. Implementation in elementary will begin in the year 2020 to 21. In grades K through 5, we have already begun the process by creating technology-based modules that tie into history, geography, and critical thinking. Over the course of this year, we will be creating additional modules related to economics, Arizona history, and much more. So many of you may be wondering about why there is this change to new standards. Nationally and within our state, social studies has become marginalized over the past 20 years due to the focus shifting to language arts and math instruction. I will say that in Kyrene, however, we give as much time to social studies as we do in language arts and math in our middle schools. In elementary school, we have a core language arts curriculum that integrates both social studies and science. So, while not the case in Kyrene, social studies has been proven to be marginalized in other districts. Secondly, kids like social studies because it is relevant. However, our old standards were more of a checklist facts students needed to memorize. The new inquiry model that our standards require has modernized the way we approach instruction in this subject. To support this change, we have utilized the state suggested priorities to inform our curriculum work in Kyrene. 1. Assess social studies skills and content. To know if our students are making progress in social studies, we need to have a system of assessments in place to allow teachers to analyze and reflect upon student achievement. This year, we are adding quarterly interim assessments in social studies, just like language arts and math. 2. Support social studies professional learning. All teachers completed a 6-hour training on new curricular resources this past summer. Further, all middle school social studies teachers are participating in 2 more days of training during the school year. This will involve more advanced training on curricular materials to support the inquiry arc and understanding of our units of study. We are developing professional development modules for elementary staff for spring and summer. 3. Use high-quality social studies curriculum and resources. This is where Kyrene is ahead of most of the state, as we went through the adoption process for curricular materials last year. Our process involved a team of Kyrene teachers and administrators to review materials for standards alignment, as well as a 60-day review process with teachers in the community. Finally, social studies is and will continue to be a priority because we know how strong background knowledge in history, civics, and geography leads to better reading. Now that we've gone over the why and how we're implementing this change in Kyrene, let's talk about the what. Before we go into that, we thought it would be helpful to show you the terms the state uses in their standards documents. Big ideas. Big ideas are the 5 social studies core disciplines or content areas. We'll see more about these big ideas on the next slide. Anchor standards. Anchor standards are the major core concepts within the larger content area. Standards are what a student needs to know, understand, and be able to do by the end of each grade. Standards are adopted at the state level by the Arizona State Board of Education. Curriculum, the resources used for teaching and learning the standards. Curricula are adopted at the local level. Standards and curriculum are not the same thing. How long we spend on a skill, topic, etc. takes a lot of work at the local level. Here you see the big ideas defined. All social studies classes will develop these skills in these areas. Disciplinary skills and processes is about fostering inquiry. This means that students develop claims about the past using primary and secondary source documents. They question how and why things have happened, and they engage in discussions with others to gain perspective. This is a completely new and will be the focus of our professional development in social studies. Further, past standards focused on a checklist of specific facts. whereas our new standards focus on developing thinking skills across the big ideas. Now, US and world history is combined into one big idea as so much US history intersects with world events. So the state committee did not feel that these ideas needed to be separated. These shifts require educators to shift their thinking and student thinking about social studies. Instead of memorizing specific facts, we want to develop thinking across the big ideas and anchor standards in a progression from grade level to grade level. Instead of memorizing facts, students will engage in inquiry and analysis. So we go from memorizing facts to grasping bigger concepts to apply to different topics of study. Instead of covering a lot of different topics, teachers are encouraged to go deeper with what they are teaching. Instead of recalling information, students will think more deeply about how and why things have happened and make connections across history. For example, in the past, one of our standards in 6th grade was to determine how the following factors influenced groups of people to develop into civilizations in Egypt, India, Mesopotamia, and China. It might say A, farming methods, B, domestication of animals, C, division of labor, D, geographic factors. Now, the standards do not call for memorizing how the ancient Egyptians used farming. Instead, they now have to compare the development and characteristics of historical cultures and civilizations from different global regions. It is a lot more open-ended, and students are encouraged to go beyond the checklist. The state committee felt really passionately about the continuity of standards across grade level bands. What you see here is a staircase that shows how one standard looks in grades K through 2, then 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and in high school. The anchor standard, also known as the major concept, is E1. A financially literate individual understands how to manage income, spending, and investment. This staircase shows the path of how students get there. In kindergarten through 2nd grade, students describe reasons to spend money. In grades 3 through 5, students identify positive and negative incentives that influence financial decisions people make to save and spend money. In grades 6 through 8, students analyze the relationship between interest rates, savings, and the use of credit. And in high school, students compare the costs and benefits of different types of investments. Now it's time to look at your handouts and find the progression of anchor standards by grade level. This shows you how each standard is covered across a child's K through 12 experience. You can find a link to this handout on our district website where this PowerPoint is located. To summarize, here are the notable shifts. Skill complexity increases from grade to grade. Each grade band focuses on embedded inquiry-based learning and critical thinking. Focus progresses from individual students to worldwide view with each grade. Grade level standards are written to support anchor standards. Middle school teachers will be implementing these new standards for the 2019-20 school year. Teacher committees worked this past summer to create curriculum guides to support all middle school teachers with implementation this year. Instruction will emphasize skill development and critical thinking. This is in contrast to a memorization of facts like the past. Since this is such a shift for teachers and students, this is a concept we will revisit in our professional developments this year. Curriculum resources were selected to align with these standards and will be incorporated in classes this fall. Curricular resources went through a 60-day review process. We'll now go over those. The core resource selected for our 6th and 7th grade is National Geographic. The National Geographic suite we selected has 2 textbooks, one that focuses on the world cultures and geography, and one that focuses on world history. Our 8th grade core resource is McGraw-Hill, which focuses entirely on civics and economics. When looking at possible vendors to get our resources from, The curriculum committee determined that in order to find the best alignment to our state standards and the highest materials, they needed to select a different resource for our 6th and 7th grade than for our 8th grade. Our teachers and committee members also liked how both of these texts focused on different regions and felt they were most representative of our global society. Each of these resources includes an online platform with digital materials, which allows for students to learn from experts in their fields and extend their thinking. After our core resources were adopted, summer committees were developed to create a scope and sequence for each grade level. This ensures that all of our state standards are covered and that our adopted resource is supporting us in our instruction of these standards. As you can see here, the scope and sequence is divided into 4 quarters for the year for each grade level, with 2 to 3 units of study in each quarter. Most of the units of study last anywhere from 4 to 9 weeks, which allows for students to study their content in greater depth while improving their critical thinking and skill development within each topic. Our 6th and 7th grade National Geographic Core Resource was selected for how comprehensive it is and the regions represented from across the world. As you can see here, 6th grade will be focusing on the regions highlighted in purple, and 7th grade will be focusing on those highlighted in blue. One excellent element of National Geographic is their online platform. Through the platform, students are able to access the entire textbook, eliminating the need to take them home. For those students without internet access at home, teachers and students still have access to PDFs of the text if the student needs to print a copy of something they are learning in class. There is also a Spanish version of the text that is used with our dual language program, allowing all of our students to receive the same content. Students can extend their thinking and apply it to new situations through the use of field journals, which are available both online and hard copy and allow for further writing opportunities in class. National Geographic Online also comes with digital handbooks, reference guides, and online atlases for student use. Through the teacher portal of the resource, teachers are able to provide their students with additional videos, interactive activities, and photos from the National Geographic Library. With the online resource, teachers and students are also able to play the audio of a text and use modified text for students who may need additional support. There is also an exam view interface where teachers can assign tests for their students and review their results online for easier data analysis. The National Geographic platform allows for students to make connections through the use of their National Geographic resources and interviews with real explorers at the beginning of every chapter. In addition, there are a variety of suggested lessons and activities to get students engaged in applying their knowledge both online and through the materials presented in class. There are also many accessibility options, making it possible to differentiate for students of all levels, such as English language learners, special education students, or gifted and talented. Our McGraw-Hill online platform for 8th grade also has a lot of excellent benefits for students and teachers. Students are able to access the full text online and practice and improve literacy strategies with tools such as read-alouds, highlighters, graphic organizers, and tips for understanding. The online version of the text is broken down by lesson and includes additional videos and photos, as well as guiding questions that students can respond to and submit online. The teacher platform has question banks, assessment builders, and resource banks to support student instruction and assessment. There is an extensive lesson plan builder that teachers can use to personalize lessons for their class and then convert them into a presentation to give to students. The resource bank includes things like primary source documents, so students can analyze historical documents from the period of time that is being studied. Graphic organizers to aid in the development of thinking and organizational strategies, and inquiry journals or reading essentials to either extend or develop understanding of the content. Teachers can also have students use a feature called Learn Smart which provides targeted review of the content students are learning in class and adjusts the level of questioning based off of student knowledge and confidence when answering questions. This can be excellent in supporting struggling learners or pushing students to complete things at a higher Lexile level or even for intervention and review. Both of our programs do an excellent job with embedding literacy. McGraw-Hill utilizes reading guides to support comprehension of material and inquiry journals to extend thinking and provide more writing opportunities in class. National Geographic has reading tools, modified text, and field journals. Through both of these resources, students are receiving comprehensive social studies instruction that not only aligns with the state standards, but also supports students in becoming global citizens while improving their reading, writing, and critical thinking skills at the same time. Thank you. For those of you viewing this presentation online, please visit the remainder of this website to have access to any of the materials that we discussed in this presentation. Thank you.